In this next set of videos, what we're going to do is upgrade a Drupal 7 module to Drupal 8. And part of the process is really discovering how to find out about things that you don't know or that don't have clear documentation or you just don't know what to search for. So this is really a process not just about learning what the new parts of Drupal 8 are, but also learning how to find out about things that you don't really know about yet. But before we get into that, I wanted to step back and really look at this full collection and explain why we're approaching things the way that we are. In Drupal 8, there's 3 different types of knowledge that you're going to be using in order to work with it effectively. The first is knowledge that you have about Drupal in general. And if you've worked with Drupal 6 or Drupal 7, there's a huge amount of carryover to Drupal 8. A lot of the concepts are the same. There's views, there's nodes, there's fields, there's content types. If you hear those words and you understand what they mean and you can kind of envision how you'd work with them, then you have a huge head start in working with Drupal 8 versus people who are just starting with Drupal from Drupal 8. So this is the first group of knowledge that will help you when working with Drupal 8. The second group of knowledge is really based off of Symphony, and that's what we've been covering so far in this series, is how to understand how the Symphony components really change the way that you work with the code base in Drupal. The dependency injection container is a core element to that, but event listeners and understanding request and response are also essential to really understanding what's going on in the code. You can do a lot of copying and pasting and getting what you need out of Drupal 8 without understanding the foundation of Symphony, but when you do understand that foundation, then it kind of expands your knowledge of what you're seeing, and it starts to make sense, not just from a user perspective, not just for developing in Drupal, but for programming in general. There's concepts in there that will bleed into every part of your programming life. So that's the second part. The third part is really about the parts of Drupal 8 that are unique, different than any other version of Drupal until now. Things like plugins and configuration management are concepts that are introduced in Drupal 8. And in this next section, as we upgrade a module from Drupal 7 to Drupal 8, we're really trying to tackle that range of knowledge. I'll be trying to introduce you to some of those big concepts that are introduced in Drupal 8 and how they mesh up with the other aspects of what you know about Drupal already. My hope is that once you work through this final section where we upgrade a module and take a look at those new concepts, that you'll have a solid foundation in all 3 areas that will really help you get started in doing practical work in Drupal 8. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into upgrading a module.